Before we start this video off, I would like to show y'all the scariest paper that the gangs of Atlanta had seen in years, with a list of so many gangs. And this is what triggered Lil Baby to start basically getting ready to move up off of 4PF. But we'll walk y'all through a little timeline too of some horrible stuff that happened as well that forced his hand. He's not in the wrong, but might be a case too little, too late. Y'all remember when George Cheedy plopped himself on Vlad TV and basically said FANI Willis personally told him these statements right here? Check this out right here. Crazy.
I should expect another RICO indictment of another street gang in Atlanta soon. It's going to keep coming. Like, it's going to be every month or two until she thinks she's done.
4 Pockets Full had to come to an end. You know what I'm saying? Started learning that, like, other people's actions I could be held accountable for. I ain't know. You know what I'm saying? Now that I know, I'll be a fool to just keep the same thing going. Hey, we're gonna switch that whole thing up. And it ain't even just about the police. I never was supposed to make my label something that I talk about. Start your label with something that don't got nothing to do with nothing or nobody.
Yeah. FANI Willis got that boy shook. And I know why, because y'all remember that paper, right? All right, cool. They done already laid it all out on the Reddit. So let's take a stroll, if you will.
I know Thug says what Wham says goes, but if Thug says, hey, I'm gonna get in the studio, I'm gonna make some music with Gunna.
I don't see that happening. I always rapped about that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna rap about it. Like my first song, we can't rap about that and you did that. You know what I'm saying? Or you can't really, you know what I'm saying? And
Strike southwest Atlanta after 3 children were shot overnight.
Police say 2 of those kids have died. This all happened just after midnight on Sparks Street.
And Good Day's Mark Teichner joins us live from Grady Memorial Hospital, where the survivor is being treated. Mark.
That's right, 12 years old only, at last check in stable condition. Unfortunately, these 2 other boys did not make it. They have been described as being 13.
These shootings is tragic, but when we have juveniles, it makes it more so.
3 children are shot, 2 are dead, the other rushed to the hospital. The gunfire rang out around 12:40 Tuesday morning at an apartment complex located on southwest Atlanta's Spark Street.
2 13-year-olds and 1 12-year-old. One of the 13-year-olds was pronounced deceased on scene. The other 2 were transported.
Sadly, the other 13-year-old died at the hospital. The 12-year-old, at last check, was in stable condition. Police have no motive or suspect description, telling us they aren't sure if the gunman fled on foot or in a vehicle.
Coming through video and doing a canvas and speaking to witnesses.
My cousin, real smart, real funny. He didn't do nothing to nobody.
Desiree Barber's cousin died in the shooting. Her mom said it was okay for us to talk to her about him.
I love to ride bikes and be outside. Bike riders be outside, ride bikes all around the neighborhood and stuff like that.
She says her cousin liked to play basketball, was about to go into the 8th grade at Sylvan Hills Middle School, and today would have been his 14th birthday.
He in a better place. He don't have to suffer so.
Still waiting to get an update from police as far as the latest information on the investigation. If we do get something from them, we'll let you know right away. Reporting live from Grady Memorial Hospital in downtown, I'm Mark Teichner for Good Day Atlanta.
Just hate to hear about young people dying, especially in this way. Mark, thank you.
I'm a real big dog on Spark Street. My apartment's okay. It's just something about that chopstick when that fine pen get shaved. I was just.
You got Project Baby, Juicehead, basically here apologizing to Honeycomb Brazy, right? Honeycomb Brazy said, get your pussy ass out of my inbox. Yeah, you used to be my dog. Granny and them used to feed us both in that cell till you know you knew. And then here you go right here. You know, I would never have went against you. I was just chasing that money. And you know, I knew how much you love your granny and grandpa. I wasn't with it. I ain't killed them fools. It's a long story I want to explain to you so you can see my side. It's all going to come out, though. I F my name up. Do not let them pussies get away with what they did. Them niggas try to kill me, all type of stuff. It get real deep. I know you probably ain't got words for me, but I wasn't with that. I could show you and explain to you every it go. I still love you. Them niggas used to cross me, my life out, shit crazy. I just wanted the money. So then here you go right here. You got cats that's in there telling 4PF Lil D filed motion to suppress identification of him made by 4PF Dirty Tape. State of Georgia versus Demurring Render. Defendant moves the court for an order suppressing any references to the pretrial identification of him by an identified informant, Contavious Wright. He further moves that if the court finds that pretrial identification is subject to suppression, any in-court identification by the same informant not be permitted. Defendant shows that according to the indictment, an incident report, an informant, Contavious Wright, was at the scene of shooting August 3rd, 2022, wearing an ankle monitor after Mr. Wright was detained by police officers and in police custody. He falsely accused Mr. Render of participating in the shooting. Prior to the shooting, Mr. Wright was circling the Peter Street area in a white Kia with another dark-colored car with tinted windows for about an hour. There are surveillance cameras in the area and pedestrians passing by. Mr. Wright is the only person who implicated Mr. Render as the shooter inside the dark-colored vehicle. Mr. Wright did not provide a motive to why the shooting occurred or the other members that participated. Police admitted in the interview that they do not believe he is being honest. Mr. Render was not arrested at the time. Mr. Render was not arrested until December 3rd, 2022. Police did not place a warrant for Mr. Render's arrest for the present charges. Moreover, Officer Commerce of the Atlanta Police Department did not present a photo of Mr. Render to Mr. Wright on August 3rd, 2022. Mr. Wright attempted to show Officer Commerce and Officer Deegan a photo of Mr. Render via Instagram, but was unsuccessful at his attempt. Mr. Wright attempted to identify the Instagram account of one solid Lil D as belonging to Mr. Render and as belonging that of the person involved in August 3rd, 2024 shooting incident. Defendant maintains the procedure used by the police was so impermissibly suggestive as to give rise to very substantial likelihood of irreparable misidentification. A defendant afforded the due process right to have an identification procedure which is not unnecessarily suggestive and conducive to irreparable mistaken identification. In this case, the procedure used by the police was unnecessarily suggestive. The police also made statements to the confidential informant that was unduly suggestive. The police should have utilized a valid constitutional photographic array procedure. There were no exigent circumstances which mandated the procedure used by the police. Reliability is the linchpin. Yeah, that's linchpin. It's super small, y'all. So, in determining the admissibility of identification testimony for both pre and post Stovall confrontations, the factors to be considered are set out in Neal versus Biggers. These include the opportunities of the witness to view the criminal at the time of the crime, the witness' degree of attention, the accuracy of his prior description of the criminal, the level of certainty demonstrated at the confrontation, and the time between the crime and confrontation. Against these factors is to be weighed the corrupting effect of the suggested identification itself, even though and then State of Georgia versus Contavious Wright comes out of the State of Georgia by through undersigned. Assistant District Attorney hereby moves this honorable court to admit defendant Wright's statement to law enforcement at the trial of the above style case. In addition, the state requests a hearing to be held on this motion prior to the call of the case for trial. In support of this motion, the state shows the following. The defendant was charged with numerous offenses, including participation in criminal street gang activity, armed robbery, kidnapping, and attempted murder. The defendant gave a statement to law enforcement during the course of the investigation into the aforementioned offenses. The state is seeking to introduce defendant's statement to law enforcement during trial pursuant to OCGA 24-8-824 to make a confession admissible. It shall have been made voluntarily without being induced by another by the slightest hope. So everything I'm about to basically let y'all know is something everybody already knew, right? So if they wanted to get Lil Baby and everybody out the way right now, they could pull the trigger anytime they wanted to. These is the old articles documenting the 4PF gang that used to go by Bank First, Pay Later, 6FPL. They've always been in Oakland City. So here you go right here. Cavario Andicus Major, 26 of Atlanta, was jailed in Rome this week after police said he was involved in a smash and grab burglary while being a part of a street gang based in Oakland City, Atlanta. Reports said that the gang committed numerous smash and grab burglaries, not only in Rome but throughout the state. The incident in Rome occurred back on October 8, 2016 at 3402 Alabama Highway. Major is charged with violation of the Georgia RICO Act. So here you go right here. They also try to link them to the Martyr attack. So Martyr police said they are trying to determine whether members of a group called BFPL or Bank First Pay Later were involved. We were intimidated. Everyone was terrified. People were trying to run, but there was nowhere to run. The man who requested anonymity said. So let's go through some timeline real quick. 4PF Nate got 40 years, definitive sentence for a total of 40 years, with the first 30 years to be served in confinement and the remainder 10 years to serve suspended. The defendant received credit for time served in custody from 6/5/23 to present. Upon service of 30 years, remainder of services 10 years served, suspended, provided that the defendant shall comply with the conditions of suspended sentence imposed by the court as part of the sentence. Yeah, FANI Willis got that boy scared. FANI T. Willis has that boy scared because you just seen Thug come out and you seen Dirk go in. Now, let me help y'all out. When y'all start to think about Lil Baby now more and more these days, there's only two people you putting him with, Young Thug and Lil Durk. I ain't really cared about pairing them up with Gunna or nothing like that. I feel like Charlamagne threw that question in there just to cause a ruckus. Just some media training. When it comes to Gunna, leave it alone. Just say time will reveal time. He couldn't because he basically put the message out there. He said, I don't see that happening. That means he was told that. Y'all know by who. Thug and Gunna ain't cool. They ain't rocking. It is what it is. Them days are gone. Wish them both well, but hey, business is business. So that's all that is. But when it comes to Lil Baby, he's scared. Bro, you should have never revealed the real origins of 4PF being basically put down and, made up in prison. You should have did exactly what other outsiders like myself thought. Hey, they got the name from them Texas legends, from UGK, from Pimp C and Bun B. That's what I thought, and you should have ran with that. See, the problem with these cats is when they say stuff like that, you had to legitimize it first. Yeah, man, we was 4 pockets full because when we was kids, man, we was running around raking leaves, cutting grass, walking dogs, selling candy, selling water like everybody else in Atlanta was doing some shit. We started doing it too. Couldn't even do that because he's scared. You damn near just threw your people under the bus by doing that, by essentially saying it's a lot of BS going on and I got to disassociate myself. Nothing wrong with that on the premise. But what you just did was acknowledge it's some spooky shit going on. All he would have had to do was say this. And I ain't mad at Lil Baby because I get it. He like, man, let me make sure. So he ain't in no trouble as long as those crimes that he did in the past wasn't with nobody and everybody just start getting webbed in and linked in and you start seeing a certain thing, because one of the common denominators with 4PF right now is kids get shot. Robberies happen. Not a good look. Just is what it is. So with that being said, all he would have had to do when it come to 4PF is put it out that way. But him being scared and disassociating himself, if he wanted to tell the truth, then he needed to spit the truth a different kind of way. All he should have said was this. Yeah, man, I want to basically start fresh with a new label, a new everything. We just scouting new talents and all this. Because if you're really done with the whole 4PF stuff and everything like that, hey, little buddy, I ain't going to hold you. I ain't going to hold you, buddy. You got to cut off every freaking body. And I know you love your people from what we see on the internet. You got to literally be out your rabbit ass mind, homie. So it is what it is on that part. But as far as it go for 4PF and Lil Baby and all that, him getting out of there, that is 100% him being scared of the RICO. That could happen at any time, but I just don't think it's going to happen to him because it already happened to past previous members. So we'll see how it played, but he did the right thing, but it might be a little too late, because at the end of the day, all they had to do was just say, hey, you know what, bruh? That's a front. You know, I already heard him say Rock Crew turned into YSL. That's all they had to say about Out the Glass Records. So if you really like that, bruh, insert a manager over 4PF, all them other cats and stuff like that, let them do their thing, but they can't go. They can't go. Anybody associated with street life and all that stuff, bruh, what's more important, your people or your family? Which one you gonna pick? Because you can't pick one or the other. See, that's the problem with these cats. The adulation and all the success and all the accolades and all the ass kissing that come with your homies, opposed to people that you love and that's going to tell you certain things you don't want to hear. You can't have one without the other, right? Wrong. You got to choose this one or you got to choose this one. This one's the best one because when the money dries up, when this album flops like it's going to, bruh, you're going to have your people. They're going to be the ones to tell you, hey, it's time to switch it up. It's time to take great swings, bring in a new sound and stuff like that. From what I'm hearing, it's not it. This ain't it. And it's not that you can't make great music. This just ain't it. I hope if Lil Baby see this, bruh, hey, your next album that you're going to drop in February, bring in new sounds, bruh. Make this one exclusively different. Force Atlanta to now change up the damn sound. If you don't, you don't. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts on this one. I'm going to be fair, square, obvious, and honest. It's a little too late. You just let us know Thug don't rock with Gunna. And basically, 4PF is a gang, and you out.